Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Bright Side of Life. I am your host, Melissa Bright, and today I have some exciting news I'm going to share with you. But first, I just wanted to let you know that this is going to be a solo episode. My guests return next week, so stick around for my guest next week is Barbara Lane. She wrote the book Broken Water. It is such an incredible, incredible book. I literally cried throughout it. Great book. And her story does a lot of her story takes place here where I live in St. Louis, Missouri. So guests will be back next week, but I wanted to do a solo episode. Today we are going to be talking about self-worth, which this episode is all tied in for a reason. So after I'm done making my announcement, I am going to be going over a self-worth roadmap to help you embrace your inner brilliance. So you want to stick around for that. Maybe get out a pen and paper so you guys can write down some of the things that I'm going to be going over. But for now, the exciting news. Let me first ask you a question. Are you ready to step into your power and break free from self-doubt and embrace your true worth? Okay. Well, my special announcement is, as many of you know, my passion has always been to inspire personal growth and empowerment. And that's why I am thrilled to announce the launch of my new self-worth coaching business. I am so excited. I just got my coaching certification not even 2 weeks ago. So, through this transformative journey, I am dedicated to helping individuals like you overcome self-limiting beliefs, conquer your inner critic, and discover the extraordinary potential that lies within. So, what's going to happen in these coaching sessions is we're going to dive deep into self discovery, explore your unique strengths and values, and build a foundation of unshakable self esteem. I'll be providing you with practical tools and strategies to silence that negative inner voice and replace it with empowering self talk. So, together, we're going to set meaningful goals and work towards unleashing your true potential in every aspect of your life. As part of my coaching journey, I am excited to extend a special offer to our podcast community. For a limited time, I'm providing discounted coaching sessions so I can gather valuable testimonials from incredible individuals like yourself. Your experiences and your feedback will not only help shape my coaching approach, but it's also going to help inspire others to embrace their own self-worth. So, if you're ready to invest in your personal growth and empowerment, I would love to hear from you. In the show notes right now, there is a link that you can put in your info. It says Discovery Call Intake, and you can fill out that info, and then I will be in touch with you so we can go over some of the goals. We're going to explore your goals, your dreams, and how my coaching can support you in creating a life filled with confidence, purpose, and fulfillment. So the link is in the show notes. And these are just some of the topics that we are going to be discussing in these coaching sessions. We're going to be identifying and overcoming self-sabotage. That might sound familiar with you. Cultivating self-compassion and love. We're going to be building unwavering self-belief, creating an actionable roadmap for success, embracing your unique value and authenticity, and strengthening resilience and overcoming challenges. So those are just a couple of topics that we'll be talking about. And I also want to say, if you're not familiar and if you've never worked with a coach, I just want to tell you a couple things that a coach is, and a couple things that a coach is not. So a coach is not somebody that is going to come in and advise you or counsel you and tell you what to do. They are coming from a place of like wholeness and really a co-equal of you. Coaches are there to inspire you and support you, to be your cheerleader, to ask these thought-provoking questions that really draw your own wisdom out of you so you can arrive at your own answers and your own conclusions. such part of, um, these other roles that we have is people kind of being told what to do. And it's actually quite the opposite. People really want autonomy, and they want to come up with their own answers and know that they did this themselves. So many times we go to friends or loved ones and you just want them to listen, and they're ready to tell you, "Well, I think you should do this, and have you checked out this, and have you checked out that?" And that really wasn't what you were looking for. So coaching is just really here for you to help you with a goal. You have a goal, right? And these sessions are going to help you create a roadmap for you to discover these things that I talked about, that could be holding you back. And so much of it is these not feeling worthy, not having this inner critic that is just going to talk us out of things, talk us out of things. So that's kind of a very quick rundown of what coaching is. And coaching also, it there's an accountability aspect, but also it's not coming from a place of shame, like, "Oh, why didn't you do your homework?" It's accounting for your ability. We are knowing that you are absolutely capable of doing this. And so you have an accountability partner. And it's like, it's kind of the best of all worlds. You have somebody that's going to listen to you, hold a space for you, not come with judgment or anything like that, for you to be able to work through these things and reach your goals. And I am so excited because this is just a place, the self worth. I knew that this is what I wanted to help people with, because this is what I have been working on the last 3 years to overcome and conquer. I knew who Melissa Bright was in 2020 and before that, that just had this mean inner critic, and I had to work through so much of that stuff. So of course, when they say, like, once healing has been done, you can go and heal somebody else. Well, that I'm not healing you per se, but we are going to tackle these topics and create this roadmap for you to be able to succeed in your goals and have new self-compassion and love for you. So that's my big announcement. I knew that this is what I have been wanting to do for a very long time. But of course, for me, fear stood in the way. My overthinking brain got in the way. But I have full confidence that I know that I can help people in these topics, because I have just went on this journey, and it's a continuous journey, of course. Um, but yeah, I'm really excited. So, why don't we get into the roadmap of self-worth? If you have not yet grabbed a pen and paper, I suggest that you do. But if you're driving, I suggest that you don't. And let's talk about embracing your inner brilliance. We're just going to kind of do a little breakdown of, kind of the order of things that we do whenever we're talking about self-worth. So step 1 is we're really going to understand your self-worth. Um you should begin your journey by gaining a deep understanding of what self-worth truly means. Recognizing that your value as a person is not dependent on external achievements or validation from others, and embracing the idea that we are inherently worthy, deserving in love and happiness and success, no matter what. Like, we were born with those things before society, before anything got a hold of us and we started attaching our beliefs and thinking that we weren't deserving, or thinking that we can only be worthy if we have so much success, we've achieved so much in a day. That person over there says that they love me. That person likes my idea. That is all external validation. So self-worth is really where we put value on ourselves, and we recognize our value as a person without anybody else telling us. We have that ourselves. So that's the first step, is understanding your self-worth. Step 2 is one of the biggest areas that I've had to work in, and it's identifying these limiting beliefs. We have to uncover these self-limiting beliefs that are holding us all back. We have to reflect on these past experiences and messages that we may have internalized that undermine our self-confidence. Becoming aware of these beliefs and acknowledge that they don't define your true worth. So what do I mean by limiting beliefs? We all, every single one of us, are carrying around beliefs, whether we realize it or not. We are also carrying around, what was the word I just literally thought? Oh, we're all trying to make meaning out of everything that comes in our senses, right? So sometimes we get beliefs from just being raised where we were raised, the environment that we were raised in. Um, Other times it's, experiences that we had with whatever, past relationships. So if you are carrying around these beliefs of I'm not worthy, I'll never find love, I'm not enough, I'll never be able to thrive in that career, I can't be successful, I'll always struggle. I mean, these I'm naming some very big ones that are keeping us stuck, but I mean, they can be the littlest beliefs, not that they're going to keep us stuck, but a little belief, let's just give an example, is if I see the sun is shining outside, I make the belief that, oh, today is going to be a great day because the sun is shining. So then another belief I might hold is, oh, it's raining outside today. So today's going to be a sad day and I'm really not going to be productive because it just really messes with my mood. Like, that's just a belief you're holding. That's not true just because it's raining outside. Um, you know, I the beliefs run the gamut. We are all holding beliefs about something. And so if you're holding on to these big beliefs, you have to ask how they're holding you back and what beliefs you might have been taking with you. For example, I had a belief my dad instilled in me very young that I had to go to college to be able to be any kind of success, to have stability, so on and so forth. Well, I did not graduate college. Um, and while he was right, I did struggle a little bit. It's not the end all be all. And I really, really struggled with my self worth for a long time because I felt like I disappointed my father. Well, now my father has since passed. And so there's nothing that I can do to like make that up to him. But I also need to realize that it was never my place to try to impress my father or gain his approval for me finishing college. My self worth does not base on a degree. Like, it doesn't. I've been worthy the whole time, degree or not. So it's these beliefs that, we got as kids, children, through society beliefs, beliefs could be around, society makes me believe that I have to be a certain weight or look a certain way to be seen, like to be deemed worthy. Okay. I'm just throwing out lots and lots of different examples here. So we have to identify these limiting beliefs because once we become aware, we can start, we have a choice now, right? I'm checking my Zoom to make sure it's, do you see my cat back there? If you're looking on YouTube, you can see my little Kit Kat. She is sleeping, she's out. Okay, next step. Cultivating self-compassion. So you got to start nurturing a compassionate relationship with yourself. Practice self-compassion by treating yourself with the same kindness, understanding, and support you would offer to a friend. And embrace imperfection and see mistakes as opportunities for growth. So this is one of my best strategies. When I start to get hard on myself, I will think of like one of my best friends, Randy, and I'll be like, if she came to me about the same problem, what would I tell her? Okay, well, this is what I'm going to tell myself. I don't need to be any more hard on myself, but we usually are. But we would never dare tell our best friend the same thing that we tell ourselves. And why is that? Well, our inner critic just runs haywire. But if you can kind of do that and say like, okay, who is a best friend or who is a sister? Like I would never say this to my friend. Never, ever, ever. Offer that same kindness and understanding to you. And then where we're talking about embrace perfection and to see mistakes as opportunities for growth. I'm going to tell you in coaching, we highly, highly, highly encourage failure because it's going to get you so much like quicker. You're just going to figure out things that you don't like that you shouldn't do next time. It's just, for a lack of better words, like throwing something at the wall to see if it sticks, right? Okay, well, that didn't work. So, what's the next thing I can try? But sometimes we're just stuck in the phase of like, we won't even try that thing because we're so scared that we're going to fail. Well, why don't you just accept right now? Okay, if I fail, that is okay. I'm going to accept that this might not be perfect. I'm going to accept that there is a possibility that this will not work out. But I will also accept that all this means is that this is a learning opportunity for me. And we can do the same thing like with our inner critic or anything. If when you're working on this, it's kind of a lifelong journey, right? So if you have an inner critic that pops up, the inner critic, first of all, we'll get there, but it's not like we can just turn it off forever and ever and it will never go anywhere. But if you don't do it like the first time, if you're like, oh my God, I messed up and the inner critic is still here, like don't beat yourself up. Like you're never going to completely just get rid of it because it's always going to come up when there's certain things when your brain tries to keep you safe and do stuff. So just seeing mistakes as opportunities because they really are. Nobody ever figured out anything by not failing and seeing what works and doesn't work. Like think of a cooking recipe. Like you accidentally added too much garlic and holy crap, it wound up being so much better than you thought. So just know that that was a mistake, but holy crap, that recipe just turned out so much better because you added that. There's always opportunities and learning when things don't go right, if they didn't work out, whatever it is. So, really flipping that reframe as this wasn't a failure, this was a mistake, but this is a learning moment. And that is freaking awesome that I learned that. Okay, moving on. Step 4, taming your inner critic. Ooh, I know this is a big one for so many people. So, what are we going to do? We're going to start challenging and reframing your inner critic. We're going to replace self critical thoughts with empowering and affirming statements, cultivating a positive and encouraging inner dialogue that boosts your self esteem and self belief. So many of us have these inner critics. I mean, we all have them. I'm not even going to say we don't have them. Some people have just learned to deal with them better. And this is exactly why. I am telling you, I used to be a very, very bad perfectionist because of all the ways that my dad was so hard on me that I thought in certain areas of my life, things had to be perfect. And it was usually on achievement. And once again, held shame for a very long time that I didn't graduate college. If there was anything that I set out to do, most of the time it would be like working out. If I did not work out 6 days a week and I missed a day, super hard on myself. Like I had to follow that straight line because if I fell off, it was like, you might as well just start the whole freaking 80-day program over, Melissa, because you missed one day. That was the standard. And I'm going to tell you this is you cannot, and my friend Cody Rain also says this, like, if you just beat yourself up all the time, it's not going to get you motivated. It's just going to beat you down further. Being mean to yourself, as Cody says, if it would have worked, it would have worked already. Being mean to yourself doesn't work. It doesn't say, oh, yes, now I'm motivated to go work out or to go try that new thing. No, you're just being more mean on yourself and still affirming things that you are still holding truth about yourself. See, I knew I wasn't worth it. I knew I couldn't do it. I knew I failed. I knew I was going to fail. You can't do that. You have to You have to learn to replace these critical thoughts. And I feel the best way to do that is through compassion, through treating yourself just as if you would treat a best friend. Hell, even a child or a kid. My daughter's 21, so I will often act like, would I tell my daughter that? Would I act that way, towards her? Having a lot of compassion and grace for yourself, and knowing and not believing your inner critic. First of all, so much of our inner critic, like our brain, in so many cases, like, well, all cases, just wants to like keep us safe. I made a social media post about this. Like, it just wants to keep you safe. So then when you don't go and try that new thing, you will just keep reaffirming and be like, see, I knew I shouldn't even have tried it because I didn't even try and I suck. And that's what I get for trying. And it just goes down this awful spiral. So maybe in that regard, you could say, yeah, I'm scared. I am scared. Like, this is really scary. I've never tried this thing before. And here I am going to go do it. But you know what? At least I'm going to try. At least I'm going to do this. And then I can say I tried. Like, just being your best friend. Some people call it your inner cheerleader. Turn it into an inner cheerleader. And I'm telling you, it's going to take work. There are still things that I am trying to work on to not beat myself up over, and I am accepting that I'm a work in progress because I can no longer strive for perfection, and perfection meaning like I cannot put these high unrealistic standards on myself to just fail. And then I do a self-fulfilling prophecy and I'm like, see, Melissa, you knew you were going to fail. So, reframing, becoming an inner cheerleader. Maybe start with things that maybe there's certain areas you really, really are hard on yourself. Start becoming aware of maybe a continuous like dialogue, or a dialogue that you have every day. What if your inner dialogue is, I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy? Reframing that, saying these affirmations. I am worthy. I am worth it. I've always been worth it. I was born worth it. My circumstance does not make me less worthy. Where I am in my life does not make me less worthy. Who I am does not make me less worthy. Just throwing out examples. Okay, let's move on. Step 5, embracing your authentic self. Guys, celebrate your unique strengths, your values, and your passions. Embrace your authenticity, and recognize that your individuality, that's a hard one to say. Individuality. I think I'm saying that word wrong. Whatever. Celebrate your own uniqueness. It is what makes you extraordinary. See, I can say that word. And let go of the need to conform to others' expectations, and embrace who you truly are. I am a goofy person. I don't want to say usually, but I don't know. I'm just always goofy. I laugh with my daughter all the time. I make goofy comments all the time. And I love that about myself. You just have to embrace your uniqueness, because they're literally, I know you've been told this before, nobody else on the planet is you. And that is the most beautiful thing in the world ever. Ever, 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 ever. Also, like, think about your strengths. You probably have some incredible strengths that you don't even give yourself credit for. Maybe you don't think of your strengths as a strength because other people have made you think that they're a weakness. Like being super sensitive, being very like emotional. I am an empath. I feel things so much. I know that this is a God-given strength because it helps me with talking to people and creating relationships with people. It's not hard for me to talk to people because I'm always real and I just want to hear their story. And so I love that I'm an empath and I feel other people's feelings and I can see where they're coming from and I can put myself in their shoes. That's also compassion as well. Um, so think about your strengths. Maybe there's a strength that you have that maybe you just haven't used in a while. So you're like, "Oh, I didn't even, think of that." Celebrate your values. What do you value most in life? I can't tell you what your values are, but have you ever stopped to assess what those are? To think about, to see where they're playing a big part in your life and you're like, "Oh, that makes sense." One of my biggest values is time and freedom. And I know that time is not ironic. I find time extremely valuable in the fact that, like, I lost both of my parents while I was young still and while they were young still. My dad was just about to hit 60 and my mom was just turning 54. So I was always coming from after that, like coming from a mindset of like, is there enough time? Is there enough time? Is there enough time? So now instead of me going to work for somebody else, I know that is not what I want. I want as much time as possible with my daughter and the people that I care about because of what has happened in my life. So I say all that to celebrate your values. Is it honesty? Is it trust? Is it integrity? You can look on Google it. Google a list of values and be like, oh, yeah, that really does sound like me. Now, I will tell you that there's usually like 5 main core values that people have. That's not to say you won't resonate with other ones, but you can really kind of see like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, that's me for sure. Um, yeah, and just embracing your authentic self. And I know that will also take work because as if you're a people pleaser and if you have a hard time setting boundaries and all this fun stuff, it is really hard to, um, embrace your authenticity, but it's also very freeing when you're authentic. Um, I can just tell you that from personal experience. Uh, I have been told by several people, and not that it matters, but I've interviewed some pretty well-known like experts in their field. And even they have told me that. I've never acted any different just because I'm interviewing Ken Honda or Dr. Richard Schwartz. Like I'm not going to act any different. I have no reason to. And they've commented on that. Um, so just know, like, be authentic, and I promise you, people will take notice to that for sure. And then you're like, damn, this is awesome getting to be me. This is cool. And you attract the people that you want in your life because you're acting like you and you're like, yes, those are the people I want in my life. Okay. Step 6, building unwavering self-belief. Develop unshakable self-belief in your abilities. You're going to set empowering goals that align with your values and aspirations. Focus on your strengths and past successes to fuel your confidence in achieving your dreams. So this is knowing your strengths, knowing that you are able to do these things, and then setting these goals that do align with your values and aspirations, because usually most of us, well, I don't want to say that all the time, but when you set these goals, you will notice these like values that kind of start taking themes in your life. I'm not saying that you're always aligned because a lot of times we're out of balance and that's why we're not happy and so on and so forth. Um, but then also having belief in your abilities. And That's also knowing that, okay, if you don't know something now, that's not to say that you can't get better with practice. That's not to say that at all. I gave the example on my social media post the other day about um, me doing podcasting. 3 years ago, I had never, ever, ever, well, I had never had a podcast. I had never interviewed people, um, none of that stuff. But I was willing to learn, and I was also nervous, and I was also scared. And I will tell you, the very first time that I interviewed my first guest, I went into that interview already telling myself, Melissa, this isn't going to be perfect, and that's okay. This is literally a learning thing, and you have to at least take the first step. Because if we don't take the first step, then we will just put in our head all the ways that we think it can go, that it should go, and if it doesn't go that way, then we're mad. And I'll tell you, since I had already accepted the fact that it was not going to be perfect, the interview went actually pretty damn good. And then the interviews, my interviewing, it got better. I got more comfortable. I got more comfortable in front of a microphone. So I just want to say that as a caveat, that just because you don't have the ability now doesn't mean that you can't and you won't. But also recognizing your awesome abilities that you have now, right? Trusting yourself. Trusting yourself, once again, this is coming through the Melissa filter of perfectionism, but like trusting yourself of like, even though it's not going to be perfect, I'm still going to try it, you know? And if you need to make a list, Jen Gottlieb, I took one of her courses and she made us write a list of 20 badass like times in life that we felt like a badass. And I'm like, this really, really helps to see, wow, look at all the stuff that I have done, I have accomplished, I have created, I have all these things. And if you ever need to look back and reference that when you're going through a time that's scary and you're not really sure how things are going to turn out, turn back to that list and be like, damn, I really did some cool things. And I'm sure some of those things you did and you had never tried it before and you were scared and you're like, look, I've done that when I was scared. I did that when I didn't know how to do it. I tried that when I wasn't sure what was the outcome was going to be. So, yeah. And then focusing on your strengths. Who cares if, people are like, well, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. Okay. But you do know how to do X, Y, Z, and you can learn A, B, C. But so many of us are just focusing like on our weakness. I'm not good at that. I'm not good at that. I'm not good at that. Okay. Well, lean into what you are good at and just know that the other stuff you can just continue to learn. Okay. I'll move on. Step 7, fostering resilience and growth. Develop resilience to navigate life challenges, embrace setbacks as opportunities for learning and growth. See every experience as a chance to build strength and resilience on your journey to self-worth. So I like this one because I feel like in some ways I've had to learn resilience, not not volunteering for that. But then other ways I've really learned to not let life's moments get me down. And I've cultivated that resilience, right? And I've also have cultivated the mindset as like setbacks are once again either a teaching moment, God, universe, divine, creator, whoever, maybe this setback is an opportunity to go a different direction or really do what I want to do in my life. Like there's been things that have came up in the last 3 or 4 months. Well, first of all, one, my car getting stolen. That was a huge, huge setback because I still, at this moment, don't have a car. My daughter and I are still sharing a car, and I could have been sad for the last however month, 3 months about not having a car, but it also has gotten my ass in gear to start my coaching business and being like, I know, because fear was stopping me. And I knew that I could help people because I am genuinely curious about people's lives and what is holding them back and so on and so forth. Um, so now I'm seeing setbacks as like, what is this teaching me? What can I learn? What can I do next time? Um, and not letting it keep me down. Like this stuff has made me stronger and it's always going to make us stronger. And I know sometimes it flat out sucks. I will not even deny that. Um, but sometimes we can't deny that it also does make us stronger. So whatever experience or whatever you're going through, or you want to experience, just, I mean, setbacks, I can give so many different examples, but I mean, I just kind of gave one about my car and other things happening, and it was like, no, this old Melissa would have like stayed down and been like sad and been like, I'm just not meant for greatness. I'm just supposed to struggle. See, I don't have a car. God's just trying to make my life hard. I'm not saying I don't have like moments of like whatever, frustration or whatever. Um, but I'm more times I'm like, no, like I can absolutely like rise. I can rise again from this, you know? Uh, so I don't want to sit here and say, oh, I just don't ever feel anger or anything like that. I just don't stay down as long. I'm like, okay, I have a bitch fest, vent, do what I need to do, and then I'm gonna move on. And of course, that does not mean it's applicable to everything. There are bigger things that happen in life that can keep us down. Um, but just asking, what can I learn? And just see how you grow. See how your next thing, how you look at it, how your mindset shifts, you know? Okay. Next step. So we're on step 8. There's 10 steps, just so you know. This one, we're going to create your vision. Design a compelling vision for your life. Envision the person you want to become and the life you want to lead, and set meaningful, inspiring goals that align with your newfound sense of self-worth. I am sure that you can picture who you would be if you were super confident Sarah or whatever. I can see Melissa. I can see my higher self for sure. And there's habits, there's personality, there's mindset, there's all these different things that I'm like, oh, that's who I am embracing. That's the Melissa that I'm going to be. I am literally stepping into a higher person and say, this is who I'm going to become. And then when we think that way, we become them. We're like literally putting our identity on that instead of operating from a, I'm not worthy, I'm not good, that could never be me. And this might be hard for you. Maybe it is. Maybe it's hard for you to envision a confident person, one that doesn't, seek approval from outside people, doesn't seek accomplishments to think they're worthy. This isn't going to happen overnight. It will not happen, but every new experience is a chance to do that. And you absolutely deserve to dream of a vision you want for your life. And I'm going to tell you right now, if your circumstances are not good, in whatever that means, if it's finances, if it's relationship, if it's whatever, you can absolutely get there and get into a different vision. I'm trying to think as I'm talking. What am I trying to say? Like, so many of us are operating thinking that we aren't capable of something because of the environment and situation we're in now. But that's why we have to not let our circumstances stop us, or it will just keep us in the same place. So for example, for me, trying to think of an example. Anyways, I'm butchering it, but you absolutely have the right to create a vision for your life and start envisioning the person you want to become. How do they act? What do they do? What habits do they have? What goals do they have? Like, these are all things, because when you start doing things, when you start thinking of an identity, and if you don't know, maybe there's a person that you really admire, that you really look up to them. Ask yourself, what is it that they do that I admire, that I respect, that I value? And you're like, oh, I value that this person is always on time. I value that they are a person of their word. I value that. So maybe that's what it is. You're noticing that in that person. So you're like, I want to be that person. I want to be a person that sticks to my word, that shows up to everything on time, if not 10 minutes earlier. I want to, whatever it is. So if you can't envision that for yourself yet, find somebody that you look up to and admire and pick out those things. What habits, what personality traits, whatever, and start integrating them into your life. And these goals, like setting these goals, are literally like your anchor. So you have a direction in your life, like you know where you're going. Goal 1, that's the direction. I'm going forward and I am doing this goal. Right? Okay. Step 9, taking action and celebrating progress. Take action towards your vision and goals. Break them down into manageable steps and celebrate each milestone. Recognize the progress you make, no matter how small, and use it as fuel to keep moving forward. You know, this stuff that we're doing, that we're talking around self-worth, these little things that we do daily to shift are huge milestones. You know, maybe that inner critic wanted to speak up and you stopped it in a moment and you said, nope, inner cheerleader is going to come in and she's going to say, but you tried your best, Melissa. That is huge right there. Especially like the personal growth stuff. These things, I'm telling you, do not happen overnight. So you have got to celebrate these small wins. Maybe you chose to eat something healthier for that day. Maybe you chose not to interact with that person anymore. Maybe you set a boundary. I mean, you only know your journey, but I'm just giving you examples of milestones to celebrate. And whatever steps that you have, you know, are your steps going to be steps to self-love, to setting boundaries, to saying no more, to saying yes more to yourself? You know, you get to choose that for you. And definitely like celebrate the shit out of it, because that's what you got to do. Celebrating is like, it keeps the momentum going, you know? All right, on to the last one. Sustaining your self-worth journey, step 10. Like I've been saying, self-worth is a continuous journey of growth and self-discovery. So surround yourself with supportive and positive influence, practice your self-care, set healthy boundaries, and prioritize your well-being. Because you truly do deserve it. You truly are worth it. You deserve to feel valuable and feel worthy for no other reason than just breathing and existing in this world. And when you can get to that place, I am telling you, it is very, very, very beautiful. And it will take work, but it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. Okay, I'm just going to go over this roadmap really. Just going to state the steps one more time. Step one is understanding your self worth. Step two is identifying limiting beliefs. Step three, cultivating self compassion. Step four, taming your inner critic. Step five, embracing your authentic self. Step six, building unwavering self belief. Step seven, fostering resilience and growth. Step eight, creating your vision. And step nine, taking action and celebrating progress. And step 10, sustaining your self worth journey. So that is the self worth roadmap and how you can embrace your inner brilliance. And that, my friends, is the conclusion of this episode. I just want to remind you of my offer that I have right now. I just lost my train of thought. So, for my podcast listeners now, for a limited time, I am providing discounted coaching sessions. So in exchange, I'm gonna gather your testimonial. So that offer is to you. If you would like to take advantage, I know I just went through a whole self-worth roadmap, but if you would like to work one-on-one with me and go through this and really have a goal in mind and a roadmap and somebody that's there to support you and encourage you, I would love, love, love to hear from you. Like I said before, you just fill out that discovery call intake form that is in the show notes, and then I will be in contact with you to schedule a time for a complimentary discovery call. We're going to go from there. So I am excited for this. Like I said, next week we will return with guests. And that's it, my friends. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. And I hope that this roadmap helps you. And if you're not on this journey yet, friend, of self worth, I encourage you, go do it, because it's going to be some of the best work you can ever do. And the freedom that lies ahead is incredible. All right, friend. I will talk to you later.